Hi, and welcome to Mitzvah Connection. Today we're going to learn the mitzvah of Hashavat Aveda, the mitzvah to return a lost object. The Torah says that if a person loses something, there's a mitzvah to return that lost item to them, and you can't ignore it. There are a number of things that you need to know about returning lost property. First of all, a few terms. Number one, Hashavat Aveda, returning a lost object. Term number two, a siman. A siman means a sign. Now, if somebody drops a coin outside in the street, there's no sign on that coin, so finders is keepers. But if a person has dropped, for example, their wallet there, then in order to return it to them, the person has to give you a siman, a sign that it is in fact theirs. So a good sign would be, for example, the correct amount of money in the wallet. Or it would be that you can say there's a particular name or business card in the wallet that nobody else would know that apart from the owner. Usually, if it's a garment, the length, the width of a garment, a particular scratch or a stain, or a design of a piece of jewelry, those are all good simanim, are all good signs, weights, measures, etc. The second thing is hachraza. Hachraza means announcing. If you find a lost object, you have to announce it. In the olden days, they would announce it in the shul. Today, perhaps on social media, perhaps you take it to the police office. And when you do announce it and somebody comes to you, they need to provide a siman. When can you keep a lost object? Two conditions. Number one, there's no siman. And number two, that the owner has despaired of the object. That's called yiush. Yiush means they have despaired of it. So, for example, if they dropped a coin in the street, everyone's going to despair of finding it. First of all, how can they possibly give a siman for it? And second of all, probably somebody's just taken it from them, taken it to keep it for themselves. If somebody has given you fruit to look after and they're not coming back and it's rotting, then in order to restore their lost property to them, you should sell it and give them the money when they come back. If there's a flood and a person's house is being flooded, to board it up, to put sandbags there, would be returning lost property. But if, God forbid, a river came and burst its banks and took all sorts of property downstream, and you find something, then the owner for sure has given up on it, and you may keep it. Let me tell you a story, and with that we'll finish the mitzvah of Hashavat Aveda. There was a great rabbi called Rabbi ben Doisa, and once a passerby came to his house and stopped on his door, and he had a bag of chickens. And when he got up, he left the bag of chickens on the door. Mrs. Chanina ben Doisa opened the door, saw the chickens, and her husband instructed her that she's got to take care of the chickens. The owner didn't come back, and the chickens had chicks, and soon the whole house was full of little chickens running around. So Rabbi Chanina ben Doisa said that they should sell the chicks and buy some goats. And eventually they had quite a few goats. One day the owner came and he passed by and he thought, I actually deposited here a bag of chicken. So he knocked on the door. Rabbi Chanina ben Doisa asked him for a siman. He provided the correct siman. And Rabbi Chanina ben Doisa said, let me show you your chickens. And he took him to the barn and showed him a barn full of goats. And he said, here are your chickens. So the man said, no, those look like goats. He said, no, I didn't touch them because you're not allowed to touch an item of lost property that has a siman. You have to return it to its owner. And here, your chickens were converted into goats, and here they are back. There is the idea of returning lost property also in a spiritual sense. If, God forbid, a person has not had a Jewish education, then to give them back that education is also the mitzvah of returning lost property, because it's something which is part of their heritage, and it's a great mitzvah to return it to them.